Listen, everybody. I am the greatest seller of beautiful clothes you have ever seen. I have traveled all over the world to find the most amazing silks.
The new visitor. There was a little village where many families lived. All the people in the village were very happy. They worked hard on their farms and took care of each other. One bright sunny day, a new person came walking into the village. He was a traveling seller carrying big bag on his back. The stranger was dressed in very colorful and fancy clothes that looked funny to the villagers. They had never seen anything like it before. The new visitor started shouting loudly.
Listen, everybody. I am the greatest seller of beautiful clothes you have ever seen. I have traveled all over the world to find the most amazing silks.
All the villagers stopped what they were doing and went over to see what the loud man was talking about. They watched as he opened his bag and pulled out some clothes. Gasps filled the air. The villagers had never seen anything so bright, shining and pretty before. The clothes almost looked like they were glowing with all the colors of the rainbow. Who wants to buy the first of my magical silk clothes? Asked the seller with a big smile. Just one coin and you have this extraordinary cloth. The villagers whispered to each other in wonder about the shimmery fabric. It looked so incredibly beautiful and special. An old grandfather took out a coin from his pocket.
I'll take one for my granddaughter,
he said, trading the coin for the colorful cloth. The smiling seller happily took the coin, knowing the simple villagers would be easy to trick. Aisha tries to help. While all the other villagers were going crazy over the shiny cloth, there was one young girl named Aisha who thought something seemed wrong. From the very start, Aisha had a bad feeling about the fancy cloth seller and his loud promises. To Aisha, the glowing clothes didn't look real. Their colors looked too bright, like magic tricks. And the seller had a sneaky look in his eyes that she did not trust one bit. As her friends and neighbors spent more and more coins on silk, Aisha grew worried. Didn't anyone else notice that the clothes seemed to sparkle and change colors in the light like illusions? It was almost like a magic spell. One night, Aisha could not sleep at all because her worried thoughts kept her awake. She tossed and turned, seeing pictures in her head of the tricky seller laughing as he stole all the village's coins. The next morning, Aisha decided she had to do something before it was too late. She marched into the middle of the village where a new crowd had formed to buy even more clothes. Listen, everybody, please, Aisha shouted in a loud voice. You all have been trapped by the seller's tricks and lies. The villagers turned and looked at Aisha with anger. How dare she insult their beautiful clothes? Everyone started yelling at once about how real and amazing the silks were. The shimmery colors are not normal. They seem to move like magic, Aisha cried, trying to make them understand. Your coins are being stolen by a tricky traveler using a natural trick. From the back, the seller saw Aisha was ruining everything with her shouting. Quickly, he spoke in a syrupy, sweet voice to the angry crowds.
Now, good villagers, pay no mind to this jealous girl's nonsense,
he said smoothly.
Why? She simply cannot afford such rare treasures as my enchanted silks. That is why she wants to spoil your fun.
Instantly, the crowd turned on Aisha, laughing and jeering that she was just jealous and foolish. Unable to make them see the truth, Aisha ran home crying as the seller smirked in victory. Unraveling the deception. For many days after the main villagers made fun of her, Aisha stayed inside her little house, not coming out. She was very sad that her neighbors and friends would not listen to her warnings about the tricky cloth seller. I tried to open their eyes to his lies, but they are too busy wanting more shining things to see the truth, Aisha cried to herself. Outside, Aisha could still hear all the villagers shouting and arguing, trying to buy the newest silk clothes from the seller. It seemed like his tricks had fooled everyone except Aisha. Then one hot afternoon, Aisha's little baby brother came toddling over to the door. In his little hands, he was holding a torn piece of the brightly colored cloth. When Aisha opened the door, her brother smiled and held it out to her. "Pretty," he said in a happy baby voice, proud of the shiny find. Aisha smiled too at first, but then she took a very close look at the silk cloth. That's when she saw how strange it looked up close. It almost seemed to be glowing and squirming around like it was magic. Suddenly, right before Aisha's eyes, the brilliant colors started to fade away. In just moments, the spectacular rainbow clothes had turned into dull, ugly rags. Aisha gasped. Now she knew the truth. Real silk, no matter how nice, could never glow and shimmer like that. The seller was using some kind of magic spell to make the plain old rags look like they were made of fancy, colorful silks. Clutching the now drab clothes, Aisha ran outside, waving them in the air, shouting, "Look, look, everyone! This is the truth behind the seller's magic trick." But the villagers just shook their heads and ignored her, too dazzled by the glowing silks. Just then, a mother nearby cried out in horror. The shiny silk blanket she had on her baby's crib had suddenly turned brown and ugly. One by one, all the villagers finally saw their prized silk clothes were just losing their glow. Furious, they turned to the seller's booth, but he had already run away and disappeared. Aisha held up the dull rags once more. "See? His magic was just an illusion, a trick to get you to give away all your coins," she shouted. "True quality and craftsmanship last forever. We let ourselves get too greedy and blinded by empty promises." As they looked down at their valueless rags in shame, the villagers finally understood the truth in Aisha's words. Their endless desire for luxuries had blinded them to obvious lies. It was a hard lesson to learn. From that day on, the village went back to their simple, humble ways, finding true beauty in nature and the goodness of each other, not in flashy things that could trick their eyes. Aisha's wisdom and brave actions were celebrated as an example that using smarts is better than foolishly falling for get-rich-quick schemes. This story teaches an important lesson. Do not get tricked by things that seem too good to be true. The villagers wanted the peddler's beautiful silks so badly that they could not see he was lying. They forgot to use wise thinking and be grateful for what they already had. Stay smart and appreciate the good things in your life already. Do not just blindly want whatever seems most fancy or glamorous at the moment. That is how people end up tricked and disappointed. Use wise judgment, not just desire, when making choices.